The Attorney General's office announced in the last hours that after evidence and arguments presented, a judge of procedural safeguards maintained the detention measure in prison against the lawyer Jose Manuel Valencia for being the alleged responsible of the murder of his wife.
In a hearing held in recent days, after a careful analysis and after forcefulness of the evidence and arguments presented by the Attorney General's office, a judge of procedural safeguards maintains the measure of placement in a prison facility against lawyer Jose Manuel Valencia, who is linked to an investigation as allegedly responsible for the murder of his wife, which happened on October 5 of 2021 on the island.
The judge pointed out that the prosecutor in charge of the case, assigned to the Delegate for Territorial Security, has provided elements that sufficiently demonstrate the need for the defendant to continue to be deprived of his liberty. In this sense, the claims of the defense were rejected, since they did not succeed in overthrowing the reasonable inference accredited by the prosecutor's office.
It should be noted that last November 4th, Mr. Valencia was formally charged with the crimes of aggravated homicide, manufacturing, trafficking, carrying, or possession of firearms, ideological falsification of private documents, and concealment, alteration, or destruction of evidentiary material. In the course of the investigation, the version of the possible participation in the crime of an assailant who tried to enter the house where the events occurred has been refuted. The prosecutor's office established that the victim and her husband were the only people who were in the house. Additionally, ballistic tests and other analysis indicate that the shot that caused the death of the woman was fired at very close range.
The Director of the Office of Control of Circulation and Residence Ocre, Pilar del Carmen, Brian Manuel, presented a general report of the items discussed during the regular session of the Board of Directors.
An assessment of 1 month of management was delivered by the Director of the Office of Control of Circulation and Residence Ocre in an ordinary session of the entity's Board of Directors meeting. According to Carmen Brian Manuel, some observations were made.
There were some observations, such as the different coordinations that were created and recognized within the institution and the implementation of greater control and surveillance measures for the Archipelago Department. The budget was also presented to the Assembly on the 3rd of November, so they made the approval of administrative processes and requests for residents to define the situation of some people, and we agreed with some proposals made by the members of the Board of Directors.
She also stated that issues were discussed regarding the residency situation of people who entered the municipality for the reconstruction that have not returned to their city of origin.
With the slogan that youth participation promotes the recovery of public spaces and care for the environment, a campaign for the landscaping and environmental recovery was conducted at the Eco Park.
From 6:30 a.m., a cleanup activity was conducted by the Sacudete Family Welfare Program in alliance with Coralina and other public and private entities. The coordination of the activity explained the details.
Right now, we are in our Coronado Olympia, in which we are trying to recover the park for the welfare of the community and the tourists and everybody that can come visit and enjoy this park. Sacudete is a program that consists in a create project of life for the youth between 14 and 28 years. The idea is that we are going to make different mobilization, and the objective is to give a benefit, social benefit to the island and recover a little bit what we lost.
The cleanup activity was carried out in a joint effort with Coralina, Trustbuster, the Cameroon Isleño, and personnel from the Air Force and the Navy. For its part, the island's Environmental Corporation raised awareness about environmental care with those who participated in the day.
In other news, in Colombia, Firefighter Day is commemorated, so the institution today developed activities to highlight the work performed by the men and women who belong to this relief agency and who are willing to help and respond whenever there is an emergency in the department.
Today, November 11th, is commemorated as Firefighters Day according to Resolution 0661 of 2014 of the Ministry of Interior or Colombian Firefighter Regulations. This date has its origin in the first historical record of a group of citizens organized to fight fires in Cartagena. Therefore, the personnel of the island's fire department performed physical and endurance activities from very early in the morning.
For this Firefighters Day, from the island, from San Andres, we organizing different activities that we could bring our 3 terms together. San Andres Island and Providence have 3 terms that work 24 hours each terms. But one thing is work on a term and one thing is work the 3 terms together, like when we have a big emergency. So the different activities that we are doing on the beach is to learn the 3 terms to integrate and to work together. The next thing that we're doing is to keep the guys them physically fit and keep them ready for any emergency.
For the firefighter department commander, it is important to continue working to strengthen the union among the staff and also ensure that members of the institution are highly trained and with the necessary physical aptitude to respond to an eventual emergency.
The population of San Andres and the tourism that come could be confident that they have men here that have the capacity to take the work ahead.
For this week's COVID-19 report, the island does not report any case of coronavirus, according to the National Health Institute. Following are the details of this report.
The National Health Institute reported through its webpage the figures of cases reported throughout the current week in the country, where the archipelago of San Andres, Providence, and Santa Catalina did not report any positive cases, so the total figure for the archipelago is maintained at 10,334 cases reported, where the report in the island is 5,587 women and 4,746 men, for a total of recovered patients of 10,146 cases. The islands continue with 155 diseased patients in total for both municipalities of the archipelago. On the other hand, vaccination against coronavirus shows a total of 147,653 total doses applied. The main national and international health authorities continue to emphasize the need to continue taking the necessary prevention measures to avoid infection, taking into account that the virus is still latent and mutating, as is necessary for people who have not completed their vaccination schedule to approach their health care provider to avoid complications from the disease. Likewise, the Ministry of Health invites the community to continue with hygiene measures and the use of face masks in health centers and similar facilities to avoid contracting the coronavirus, even if they have all their vaccinations up to date.
Now let's get to know other facts that today are making news in our brief news section.
The representative of the islands to the Congress of the Republic, Jorge Mendez, together with 9 other congressmen, were designated as a speaker for the first debate of the draft Legislative Act number 243 of 2022 and number 018 of 2022 of the Senate, accumulated with the draft Legislative Acts number 006, number 016, and 026 of 2022 of the Senate, by means of which a political reform is adopted. The National Police continues to be relentless against crime. The institution reported that in 2022, they captured 20 people for crimes that attempt against sexual integration, of which 11 attempted against children and adolescents. The intervention groups have also reached the Sprat-Bite pedestrian walkway to prevent crimes that affect public safety. Likewise, prevention and control activities continue at the Gustavo Rojas Pinilla Airport for visitors and residents entering the island. decoration and cleanliness, infrastructure improvement, change of grids, grey water control, odor eradication, healthy coexistence, and control of car speakers, among other issues, were discussed during a meeting convened by #Anato San Andres chapter to learn about the progress and the commitments for the development and promotion of the Sprat Bight pedestrian area. The event, which was attended by the mayor, the local police, the local government, Coltelco, among other actors, continues the work to achieve the #Blue Flag certification that guarantees a beach with all the conditions to offer an excellent service to tourists and own.